For the last 2 years, coronavirus has meant that results day has been, quite frankly, shambolic. 1 year ago, I was in exactly your position. I had missed my grades for my offer, which was actually for Durham, and using a variety of the methods available to me, which are the exact same things that are available this year, I managed to actually improve my grades to the point that not only did I now hit my Durham offer, I actually exceeded it, and then I made a reapplication and actually got an Oxford place. With my experience of this unique situation from last year, let's talk about all the available options, and in particular, which ones I think are the most beneficial for improving your grades in your situation, because it is far from all over, even if you don't have the grades you quite want today. So let's start with being clear on exactly how your grades have been worked out this year, so we can understand where to build on it from that situation. Teachers will judge the standard that a student is working at based on a range of evidence produced by that student over their course of study, and covering only the content they have been taught. What they're basically saying is, if you've been working at a certain grade, even if you haven't done the exams, that should be the grade that you are given. And this is particularly important for the first option available to you, which are appealing these grades. In my situation last year, I kind of appealed 2 of my 3 grades. I took Greek, Maths and History, and for History I thought I was given a lower grade than I should have done. So I kind of inquired to my school, my teachers, exactly how they broke down their grade for me. They were kind enough to give me a bit of a comment, and even though I thought my history grade was really harsh, I could see how they come to their conclusion. Basically, they said that yeah, I was working really well at everything during the year. My coursework that I'd submitted was actually quite lower, so they had to adjust my grade accordingly. Of course, I didn't know how much my coursework was good or bad because that had just been given to them, so it kind of made sense in the end. That appeal was effectively unsuccessful. For Maths, this was a situation where the grade I was given by my school was actually moderated down. This was something that happened all up and down the country, but effectively a lot of places had their grades moderated down because of some algorithm. In the end, this algorithm was ditched, and so my Maths grade actually did increase. It was an automatic process where they basically got rid of the moderating and everyone got their grade that they were given by their teachers. I want to use both of these examples to show why I don't think appeals are such a good option this year. Such a good option in the sense that I don't think many of them will be successful. If we go back to the history example, where my teachers gave me a grade based on their working out and I just wanted to inquire because I thought I'd maybe done better than what their working out suggested, this shows that the teachers really do look at every single part of your year's progress and your work to work out a grade. Because it's a question of judgment by your teachers, it's really hard to prove that they've got it wrong. That's what Ofqual have said. The appeals will only work where the original decision represents an unreasonable application of academic judgment, and I think that's basically impossible to prove. If we go on to my Maths example, I don't think this looks very good for appeals this year because there is no moderation down in the first place, and just whichever grade your teachers will give you will be the grade you get. So to summarise, I really don't think appeals are very effective this year. Perhaps worth a try anyway, why not? But I think we should look at now the other options, which I definitely think do have much more potential, because you may still feel, even if these appeals aren't a good option, that your grades aren't as high as they should be. And that's what I felt for my third subject, which is Greek. So the next option available to you guys is resitting these exams, whether it be in the autumn series, which is taking these exams in roughly September, October, November time, or the following summer. Let's break these down and talk about just the autumn series first. This is what I did for Greek. I knew I wouldn't have any leg to stand on with an appeal, but I thought if I did the real papers themselves, I thought I would have a good chance of increasing my grade, and in the end I actually did. The important thing to note about this autumn series is that you could be examined on any part of your syllabus, even if you didn't cover it in school. What that means is, there might be some parts that your teachers took out of your courses because of time constraints or coronavirus in whatever capacity, making it not possible. But now once you do these autumn exams, if you so choose, you have to be prepared for absolutely everything. Of course, I think this is really unfair, because why, if your exams, when they're given to you by your teachers, you don't have to have that? Now in the autumn exams, you do have to know the whole syllabus. So I think this might be a better option for some subjects like history, where you can kind of choose what to answer in the exam. You have a selection of essays, and you should be able to answer one essay. You just choose some questions of the exam to answer. In other exams like Maths, that might be harder this year, because if you're tested on a range of mathematical theories, and some of them you haven't done, you do simply need to just learn them yourself, and that can be pretty tough. But even if you do have to learn the whole syllabus, that might be counteracted by the fact you might only be revising for 1 or 2 exams as opposed to 3 subjects worth, because you might be happy with 1 grade from your teachers already, so you can kind of pick and choose. So I do think that makes it a bit more fair. As I think these autumn series exams are really one of the most beneficial options, I'm actually going to make a video next week about how to best revise, especially if you haven't covered the whole course or you don't have much time left, how really to attack these as best possible. So if you're interested in that, please do subscribe and stick around for that. One other good thing about these autumn series results is that they are not considered resets in any capacity. In a normal year before coronavirus, if you took A-level exam results in the autumn or in the following summer, they were classed as resets, and on your UCAS and in general, you would still have your original grade and then your resitted grade. However, in this case, it's simply another option and you can choose your best one of the grade that your teacher gave you and your autumn result. And the worst one will be cancelled out. So for me, when I did my Greek, it's not as if I have my original Greek mark and then my new mark after the autumn reset. My new mark after the autumn reset, which was higher, simply overrides the last one, and that's it. That's really useful if you're thinking about using this for applying to universities, for example Oxford. Oxford don't really like resets, but it's lucky because if you make an application to Oxford like I did with one of these autumn series, they don't mind at all, they consider it just the same as any normal A-level and there's no problem whatsoever. And although it's a bit ambiguous, it seems that they're saying that's the exact same if you take them in the summer, in basically a whole year, the summer of 2022. Of course, for both of these options, you'll have to take a gap year. It's not as if you can do these exams in September, October, and then go to university straight after. You would have to go to university next year. So that's something else important to consider either way, whether that's something that works for you. For me it did, because I thought I could miss out on the coronavirus shambles last year in university and then go this year, or starting in October, where I think it'll be better. And you might think the same, where if you go next year, coronavirus should be completely done, as opposed to this year where there are maybe still some problems. But of course, you also have to think about, does a gap year work for you financially? Can you find a job? Will you be super bored, lonely, all of these sorts of things. But it's definitely something I would really strongly consider. The summer exam series next year is a really similar story. Again, you'll have to be prepared for all parts of your course, even the bits you maybe didn't study with your teachers. But from my reading, it doesn't look like they're considered resets and just as useful for any university you want to apply to as the grades you might have been given this year. The reason I didn't choose summer resets last year is because I thought I could get them over in autumn and have the rest of my gap year to enjoy, and I could spend that time revising quite hard as opposed to always have it in the back of my mind. But this might be a much more reasonable option this year if you need to learn some parts of the course which you've never touched before, because for me last year we mostly did all of the course in school. It's not as if we had problems for the whole year with coronavirus, meaning certain bits had to be cut out. If you're choosing between the autumn or the summer exams, questions you need to ask yourself are stuff like, how much of my course left do I have to prepare? How good am I right now? Have I been completely out of practice for the last few months, or have I been slowly ticking it over, as I kind of did in preparation for my results day last year, because I thought there's a good chance I might have to redo some of my subjects. All of this is something for you to work out, along with the considerations of, do you want to take a gap year? Because like I say, you do have to do that, unfortunately, potentially, if you want to do these things. Finally, let's talk about clearing. Of course, this is the situation that's just as normal. Any normal year, you could enter clearing. Clearing allows you to find a university place that hasn't yet been filled if you aren't holding any offers yourself. So basically, if you have missed your firm and your insurance, or for whatever reason you, let's say, miss your firm and then choose to actively decline your insurance, for whatever reason, if you're holding no offers, you can enter clearing. So important myths to dispel about clearing is it's not the fact that it's just the leftover courses that are there. There are some really interesting and good courses that are available through clearing for a variety of reasons. For example, potentially this year, some people have missed their offers, so their place goes back into clearing, so then you, if you have maybe slightly higher grades, can take that offer through their clearing, for example. I personally think there's likely to be way more movement in this year than any normal year, so there are more options for clearing that you should definitely consider, potentially. You can go on the UCAS website and find out exactly how to enter clearing and what to do if you're so interested, but I think it's definitely something not to be sniffed at. And kind of similar, instead of clearing, you could just decline all your offers and make a new reapplication, as again was something I did. Kind of similar to clearing, but obviously just kind of doing it the next year by making a new UCAS application. This works very naturally well with doing some of your grades again or trying to get them higher through the appeals and stuff like that, because then you might be able to make a new application with better grades and get better offers. After I had my one successful appeal and my one successful autumn exam series grade increase, so I had 2 higher grades than what I was given on actual results day, I made a new UCAS application and I applied, and of course one of the places I got into was Oxford, which is brilliant. So it really does show that it is possible if you make a new UCAS application. I had on results day offers too low for the Oxford course, and of course most people who get in or apply to Oxford competitively have grades much higher than just the minimum requirements anyway. I managed to still get a place, and the same can really be true for you. In addition to your new grades, you might be able to write a more nuanced personal statement with the extra year of maturity you have and stuff like that. But it really is possible. Again, requires a gap year, but I think if you can sort that out, there are definitely many benefits. So hopefully that all makes sense. The main options to increase your grades look to be through appeals, the autumn series or the summer series, clearing or just making a new reapplication, and I think it's those last ones that really are potentially the best. Doing the autumn series, the summer series, clearing, and after that maybe making a reapplication. If there looks to be a lot of interest around this topic, I'll make another video, maybe breaking down each of these options in more detail, how to best prepare for them. So if you want to stick around for that, please do subscribe and I'll definitely make more stuff like this. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. I'll do my best to answer them. But apart from that, I wish you all the best and I'll see you in the next one.